When people cannot change things, they change words. By Gurubsar, Lankar Ida Baguz. I can still clearly remember how a large part of the Netherlands and Europe, together with various political parties, spoke about peace, humanity, and the acceptance of Muslims and war refugees who were being oppressed in their own countries, without fully foreseeing what complex societal consequences this would later bring. Many Europeans, and especially Christian supporters of the reception of Muslims, were also completely charmed by them, with statements that mainly confirmed their own moral self-image, without considering the broader picture. Those people must be helped. They are kind and nice, aren't they? We have good Muslim neighbors and have never had any trouble with them, and so on. The refugees and asylum seekers clearly received extensive support, while European citizens themselves increasingly struggled to make ends meet. Muslim communities were given the opportunity to build mosques, while Christian minorities in some Islamic countries do not enjoy the same freedom to build churches. The government also ensured that migrants were given priority in certain areas of the housing market and had access to subsidies and facilities intended to alleviate their material and emotional hardship. Meanwhile, European residents ultimately had to bear the financial burden, while their own concerns and problems received less and less attention. Now it is precisely those same groups of people, politicians, and political parties who, at any cost, want to get rid of those poor, pitiable asylum seekers, even if harsh measures would be required. I find that development worrying and painful to witness. At the same time, many predominantly Islamic migrants originally came with good intentions, each with their own hopes, beliefs, and goals, but also with verses of the Quran in mind. See Surah Al-Ma'idah 551, Surah Al-Imran 328, Al-Mujadila 58:22, never befriend unbelievers. That refers to gain their trust, eagerly make use of their kindness, flood their country, embed yourself in their system, and eventually turn against them, because they are the enemies of Islam. Western societies in general were too naive and could not fully foresee at the time how complex the long-term cultural, social, and political consequences would be. Various religious and cultural beliefs also played a major role in this, as did the so-called moderation and peace preaching of woolly-minded preachers from various Christian churches, which led the European people astray. Mutual expectations and misunderstandings between societies also contributed to this. Now that many European countries, which once warmly welcomed asylum seekers, are facing economic uncertainty, political division, and social tensions, the curtain seems to be slowly falling. As a result, fear, frustration, and increasing polarization around migration, integration, and cultural identity are emerging. What remains is a climate in which dehumanization and calls for mass deportations are in danger of becoming more normal, while such reactions ultimately never form a real solution. Because it is cruel, first cheerfully saying, "Come in and be welcome," and later not escorting them out through the front door, but preferably throwing them out through the window. The Vishnu Society had already formed its position on this matter from the very beginning. The earth belongs to everyone, and therefore we too have the right to live anywhere in the world, regardless of whether others approve of it or not. We do not adhere to any religion. Our worldview has been shaped by our understanding of history and religious backgrounds. On that basis, we do not welcome believers into our ranks. That certain religious groups and like-minded individuals therefore assign us the label of hatred toward every form of religion does not concern us in the slightest. Nevertheless, we hold every human being in warm regard and respect every living being. As part of our philosophy of life, we practice a martial discipline, But that does not automatically make us the villains. No, we do not throw bombs. We tell people what we perceive to be the truth, rather than fairy tales about an invisible friend supposedly residing somewhere in the universe. We commit no acts of terrorism, wage no wars, manipulate no one, and make no promises about life after death. In short, we are non-religious. May the non-existent devil take us. Then, should that be the judgment? In the present day, it once again seems evident how deeply division among believers can run, both in the Netherlands and across the world. Supporting those of different faiths sounds noble and humane, yet in practice religious convictions and competing beliefs often place people against one another, as though they themselves are helping shape each other's downfall. Religious groups have throughout the centuries frequently waged conflicts among themselves, begrudged one another the right to live, and elevated their convictions into supposed divine obligations. And to this very day, a part of religious humanity still seems unable to distance itself from that pattern. Thank you for listening.